there are moments where you need to trust your past self. You know, we talk a lot in spirituality about contacting your higher self and contacting your future self even. But there is wisdom in the person that in their calmest, quietest, most clear moments wrote these things down. And sometimes when we get stuck in the energies of the time, maybe something's in retrograde, maybe it's eclipse season, maybe you've just got like a lot going on in your life, you can look back at what you wrote in clear mind and say, this is what I wanted.
That just gave me the chills. That I love it.
You are listening to the Say Something Serious podcast, a podcast about best friends and big topics. Thanks for joining.
That's okay.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back to Say Something Serious. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Mindy.
I'm Erin.
This is Erin. Today we are doing just a quiet episode, the two of us, and we wanted to talk about journaling and what Erin does, something called bullet journaling. We had this experience the other day. I was like in the shower thinking about our episode. We were going to be supposed to be talking about self-worth, and it just came to me like I need Erin to tell everybody about bullet journaling. This is a skill that she has been using for years. I have learned a little bit about it, but I've actually never tried to do it. So there's a little selfish part of me here that needs to learn because I need to get my shit together. But I think you all need to hear this. It's so interesting. You want to share what happened when I told you?
Oh, so she called me yesterday and I had just left the bookstore where I had a chance encounter with a very interesting man who had me talking for like over an hour. Like he was just going on and very interesting. Like he was a seeker and he had been through a lot of he had a lot of information. And so having a conversation with him about spirituality and his thoughts on that was really fascinating. But while he was talking, there was this book that kept like taking my attention away. And so when I finally was like, hey, bro, I gotta go to work. I went over and I grabbed the book and I bought it before I left. And it was this book, which is the Book of Alchemy. Crystal down. A creative practice for an inspired life. Suleika Awad, perhaps. I apologize, Suleika, if I said that wrong. And I had just like started reading it. I've only read like the first chapter, but it is a book about journaling. And so when she called me and was like, we should talk about bullet journaling, I was like, we should talk about a couple different types of journaling, I think. And let me see. I brought out, this is by no means the entire collection, but
wait
I
a
brought
second.
out my bullet journals from the last few years.
Oh my
I usually do one a year, just so I can show you some examples of how I use it.
Didn't you also, hadn't you just sent an email to Becca, who's going to be our guest next week, about your bullet journaling practice? Like in that moment?
Yes. So our guest next week, Becca Sutter, is an astrologist who uses astrology to write a hero's myth about a person's life. And it's a collaborative process. So she's been working on me and Mindy's myths for our episode next week.
So excited.
And she had asked some follow-up questions. And when she asked me about like the rituals that anchor my life, I had written her a big paragraph about journaling and how I journal and what, how that ties into my spiritual practice. So I was just like, I felt like it was all coming together for us to talk about journaling today. So
yeah,
here we go. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I want to know, clearly you started a long time ago based on the stack of books. When did you start? How old were you?
So if we go back to the origin story, in my very early 20s, I was struggling a lot to get my ADD brain to meet my ambitions. And my dad gave me a book called Getting Things Done by Alan Carr. This is like one of the most famous business books I think ever written. And it's been updated a million times. I think the methods are very different from when I read it 20 years ago. But the main crux of his idea was that you need to externalize everything. Like the idea that you can function at a high level, in his case talking about business, without taking your thoughts and putting them into categories and lists and actually like achieve everything you want to achieve is nearly impossible for the average brain, right? Not even like just if you have ADD, but like unless you're a genius, like if you want to be working on 10, 12 projects at a time, like I often am, like you need to find a way to externalize all of the thoughts. So I used his method for a long time, and that was just basically a system of categorization and organization. He does it actually not back in the day. I'm sure he uses technology in his updated versions, but back in the day, the version I read, you actually didn't even keep it in one book. Like you took pieces of paper and you stacked them. And I did that with like manila folders, which is something I still do in my work. So there is next action. There are things that you're going to do right now. There are things that you need to file in order to reference them later. And then there are piles of things that need to be done on a long-term basis. And everything that comes into your mind or into your task list gets categorized in one of these ways.
Can I be honest with you right now?
Yeah.
I am overwhelmed.
Really?
by the amount of structure. I am one of those people who's like, I've got it all in here. You know, like I'll type some things down on my phone, but like, we're good. And it's not always helpful, but like, it's interesting. My response to this is like, I feel like I'm going to spend more time doing these tasks to organize, and then I'm not going to get the shit done. But tell me, like that's just my initial response.
Alan's system was created for CEOs. And so it's very like office centered, right? And it's this idea that like things are going to come across your desk all day long that need to be prioritized constantly. And if you don't set up a system in advance of prioritizing, you're just going to be piled under papers, right? The bullet journal method by Ryder Carroll. Let's see when this came out. 2018. So this was like the next evolution was planners, right? I was somebody that, God, I loved a planner. And I found really cool planners that had different sort of categories of things where you could take notes and you could put vision boards on it and whatever. Yeah.
I love this. I'm just like, this is so exciting for me because we're two very different kinds of people. And I feel like we should share. I love a planner also. I love to buy a planner with all these amazing intentions. And then I open it and I use it once and then I never see it again.
I have a lot.
Just being honest. I'm just being honest.
I have a lot of those too.
I really love the idea. The follow through, this doesn't happen. So I need you to inspire me, please.
Okay. All right. Well, yes. It took a lot of discipline. I had a lot of 30% full journals and 30% full planners in my life, right? Like where I would set it up and then it would kind of get destroyed. But like there's a certain hope in January of any year that comes from buying that fresh planner and saying like, I'm going to do it. And every year I did it a little longer until I did it most of the year.
Okay.
The bullet journal, like the planner situation, super cutesy, very Pinterest driven, so fun. But there was a space for people like me that were not cutesy and creative, That was like, it was very much like for a long time like an art project, right? You had like a beautiful floral planner with like all this girly shit in it, right? And it it was really like, oh, you're not doing this right unless you're making it beautiful, right? Or wanting to be inspired by like uh, Gandhi on every other page, and like that's not everybody's vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what the bullet journal method did was strip kind of all of that out. Stop asking people, lower the bar on what journaling was.
Okay,
So
you're pulling me in. You're pulling me
yeah.
in. Yeah.
So
Okay.
what the, methods like um the one from the Book of Alchemy, and like the Julia Cameron wrote a book called The Artist's Way, where she advocated for artists to do something called morning pages, which are basically like stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the three types of journaling, right? Like the bullet journaling, the morning pages, which is stream of consciousness mostly, and then prompt journaling, which is about like something specific. That's like what you might do with, your shadow book or whatever, where you're processing, right? Your therapist might recommend that, like, if you have a big thought, like you externalize it and write about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that, very cool. All of that not fitting in great with capitalism. And bullet journal method said, like, your journal can be all lists. It can be all habit trackers. The way that you memorialize the day can be one sentence, and really stripped journaling down to, here is a record of what you want and what you're doing. And so anybody can use it. Anybody can take any parts of it that they want and journal in a way that is like very low stakes, very easy, but still has a ton of benefits. So, for example, if you use his like exact design, there is a page that is for the month of May. And the month of May has 31 lines that are numbered on it. And your bullet journal practice, when you go from one day to the next, is to turn to that page and write, I saw Mindy today. I did a podcast and I went grocery shopping. Mo was really sweet. She brought me chocolates. Period. That day has been memorialized. And there's like a lot of, and then in a different section, right, you have your day page. And that is where you write down everything that you're going to do tomorrow. So let's say you're going to bed, you're writing everything that happened, and you're writing what you're going to do tomorrow. And psychology tells us that like those two things are going to make you sleep so much better. Like when you are simply externalizing what happened today and what's happening tomorrow, and it frees your mind to be creative, to be relaxed, to do so many other things. Because otherwise what your brain does is, hey, remember that you saw Mindy? Remember that you saw Mindy today? Hey, when you go to sleep, I'm going to try to imprint that memory because it was a really good memory. And you want to remember how you saw Mindy? That was great. And then it's like, oh, and by the way, you got to pick up the dog food tomorrow. The dog food is tomorrow. Just so you know, the dog food is tomorrow. That is what your brain is doing until you write it somewhere you're going to look at in the morning.
I love this. And I'm thinking more about like the psychology behind it too. And the whole, like you're letting your subconscious mind and right before bed, right? Like that's kind of when you're becoming a little more connected, when you're getting sleepy. I don't know if that's part of the practice, but I think it should be. If it's not, like when you're really close to bedtime, like the last thing you do, you're a little more open, you're a little, like your brain waves are settled, you're a little more connected to that like subconscious part of you. You're communicating to it, this is done. You are free to explore, right? Exactly. You're free to get creative. Oh, I love that.
Exactly. And then in addition to that, there's you get to build your own. But he has like millions. I don't even know if it's a he or she. They have a million examples of the type of notes that you can take. And if you go on Pinterest, like people who are into this, they create their own project pages. So let's say I wanted to start a podcast with you. Mm-hmm. There would be a bullet journal page that goes through the vision, has maybe the next 5 things that I need to do about it. Might have some inspiration or things that I want to research. And that page just exists. And when I go back at the first of every month and I go to write down my goals for that month, I will pull something from each of my project pages so that I am moving the ball forward on everything I want out of life. So
you just have me wondering, like, how much better might my life be if if I started this a couple years ago? But it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late. And I'm loving the fact that there is something to look back on, because this comes up a lot in therapy. Like, people want to change. People come to therapy because they want to grow. They want to change. They want their life to look different. And it doesn't happen overnight. And there can be frustration in that and feeling like, what am I doing? Right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you are writing these things down and then you have it to reflect back on, which is an important part of the therapeutic process, the looking back and saying like, oh, wow, I actually did change a lot overall in the last year. So much. You don't see it happening because you're living out your days. But when you take those moments to reflect, and that is kind of like another reminder every month, right? Like, This was where I was last month. Oh, I've actually accomplished some of these things. Let me pull some of this forward and I'm going to keep working, keep moving. I love this. You have to keep me accountable. Can you be like my accountability coach?
I can help you do this. And here's the other thing is, in these books probably go back to 2018. Every year there's a goal list. There's a project page called goals, right? And some things have been on it since 2018 and have not been accomplished. You know what I mean? Like, it is not a foolproof method for getting everything you want out of life, but it is a way to let it stop controlling your mind and understand that, like, when you're ready to work on it, you've made plans over and over and over again to do it. There are also 100 things that have come off these lists because they've been accomplished, right? Like,
or
if I
imagine
go back
something.
In here, I feel like I don't know which one. When did you get married?
2013.
2013.
Edit that. I'm just kidding. 2013.
Like, I have, every time I read something interesting, what's this from? Oh, I want to talk about, let's talk about how you start, because I think this is very alluring. Okay. Whenever I start a bullet journal, I make the first page something I call the theme word. And
we did this one year. This changed my life.
A page in the journal, and I write down words, phrases, anything that I want to feel. When I sit down and I think of, like, what do I want this year to feel like? I want to feel empowered. And you do this process until you come up with one single word that embodies all that you're trying, all the ways in which you're trying to evolve that year. Not all the ways, but the way. Like, if you had to pick one. And what's funny is this practice actually came from my friend Alicia.
Really?
She's my high school best friend. And every year she would turn the year into a catchphrase. So she'd be like, 2020 or 2003, let it be. Let it
2003
be. You know?
Like it.
Yeah. Or she'd be like, 2004, we want more. And she'd just like say it all year. And she'd have some like quippy phrase, right? And it was like,
I miss you, Alicia.
I know, she would have this phrase and it would kind of animate our lives for the year. Like if we were trying to decide what to do, she'd be like, well, 2004, we want more, and I'd be like, well, these are the facts, So after that, I'm not as fun and creative and rhymey as she is, but that is where that practice came from. Is like coming up with a word that would animate, and I would be able to pull it in and see if each decision I made was in alignment with what I wanted, if it matched this word, if that makes sense. So let's see.
I remember doing this with you in Ireland, I think for the first time, 2022? Was that 2022?
20, maybe. I
2020? Was that 2020?
2022.
Or 21?
Oh, in 2022, my theme was love.
Oh.
I wanted to, fearless love was the phrase. And I did a deep dive on my life in this one. I do it differently, a little differently every year. And this one, I took the numerology of the year and I explored that. And then I took the astrology of the upcoming year. And then I did the little thought bubble where I put all the words that I was trying to feel. And then I wrote this little poem or this little, this is a Nas quote.
Okay.
This is a Nas quote. That was really
Of course, he needs to be tied into the journaling experience.
He should be. So, and then some more phrases. And then the word is love. Love life, love myself, love my job, love Mo, love hard every day. And that was the theme of 2022. There were years where the theme was freedom. And they had nothing to do with loving other people. And this year,
I remember those years.
Yeah. This year, my theme is soften.
Oh.
I took all the words that I was like struggling to. Where is it here? Soften. This was more like free writing, and then soften was the word that came out. So for me, that's the pinnacle. Like you start with, what is the word that I'm going to be in alignment with this year? And the rest of the journal will build its way out of that, I guess.
So it's so interesting, and I'm trying to like snap out of this, but it just animates how much I struggle with this type of stuff. The only time I ever did this, I absolutely loved it, but you were sitting beside me. Like you were like, this is what we're doing. Because I have this struggle that I have with prioritizing my time. And I think I grew up as someone who was very like, and I don't believe this to be true, but it's still a struggle, that like these creative processes are a waste of my time. And again, I don't believe it, but I feel like I should be walking around doing something. And sometimes I'm walking around doing nothing, but I still feel like that's more valuable than sitting down. You call that anxiety, but like it's just been a struggle. And now I have really grown so much in that area, but the follow through, like I need more follow through. And I think a lot of people feel like this. I don't think I'm alone in being one of those people who feels like busyness is a really important part of life. And you've seen me, I've changed a lot, but the year we did it, my word was open, and it really shifted my decision making throughout the year. Like there were things, I had like some real postpartum anxiety, I think, after having a baby, and safety. I really wanted everything to be safe. And then I was like, okay, we're going to switch it up and do things a little bit differently. We're going to be more open to the experiences that are coming. And it really changed so much. So I think it was 2020 that we did this. Remember the year you came to Ireland? We had to do all the COVID tests and stuff.
Yeah, I remember us doing our bullet journals in Ireland.
Anyway, that page is the only page I did. And I don't know where it is now.
Decorated by Chloe.
Oh.
And she was 3. Yeah, I think it really makes a difference. There are moments where you need to trust your past self. We talk a lot in spirituality about contacting your higher self and contacting your future self, even. But there is wisdom in the person that, in their calmest, quietest, most clear moments, wrote these things down. And sometimes when we get stuck in the energies of the time, maybe something's in retrograde, maybe it's eclipse season, maybe you've just got like a lot going on in your life, you can look back at what you wrote in clear mind and say, this is what I wanted.
That just gave me the chills. That like, oh, I love it.
So it is of loving yourself.
I mean,
but your past self. Oh, let me show you. This is an example of what I was talking about. So this is February of 2021. Every day has a date, 1 through 31, and what day of the week it was, for whatever reason, for fun. But like, there's just like random things here. Like on January 15th, I passed my broker's exam, drank with Sam and Rebecca, flexed. On January 16th, it was a Saturday, I recovered from a hangover and made a playlist. It was not a huge day. I called January 17th, I cleaned the house, a get your shit together day.
Ooh, I love this. You know, it's funny. It's making me think like I feel like meditation is how I've kind of channeled this connecting with yourself piece, and like writing things down after meditation is really important for me too. Like I write down what comes through and it's there, or I get ideas and it's there. I think the externalization process is really key. But it's something like you're going to have to make me do this. So whatever that looks like.
Something
Sign
else.
up.
Something else I do every year is sometime in the beginning of the year, January, I write down, usually in the back of the book, these are the last 2 pages of the book, so they're really easy to find, or I put like a little tab on them like I have here. And these are my affirmations. And so part of my morning ritual is to light a candle, pull some tarot cards, and then do my affirmations. And I also write myself a prayer.
Every day?
Yeah. And I use that prayer. And this one is like this kind of the same thing. Yeah. And I do that prayer and the affirmations. And some years I had a morning prayer and a night prayer. And it was just me speaking into the universe what it is that I wanted to, the disposition I wanted to have.
I have a question. Are you writing a new prayer every day, or you have a prayer for the year and you're carrying that with you over time?
A prayer for the year.
Okay. All right.
So at some point in January, I have to trust that God is going to download for me the prayer for the year. Okay. And then I will write that prayer down and recite that prayer after my affirmations.
I feel really called to say, like, this is what we mean when we talk about self-care. Right? Like, everybody's like, oh, I went shopping. I'm doing my self-care. I went, like, got my nails done. I'm doing self-care. Like, that's maintenance. Okay? This is self-care. This is how you love yourself. This is how you connect with yourself. And it can look very differently for everyone. This is just like, I feel like you're giving a really great example of what we mean when we say self-care.
Do you want me to read an affirmation page?
Yeah.
Or do you think that would be really boring for everybody?
Yeah. They can fast forward. Sorry, guys.
If you touch the side, it goes 2 times as fast on YouTube. All right. This is 2024. So this is just last year. I am so grateful for this life. I am loved. My life is full of joy and abundance. I have released shame from my life. Good things always happen to me. I laugh a lot. I'm worthy of care and compassion. Challenges excite me. I am confident. I am healthy. I am strong. I am laid back. I trust that everything is working out according to plan. My energy is balanced. I'm always in a good mood. Things just work out for me. I take good care of myself. I enjoy simply being a witness to the beauty of this life. I have a great relationship. I like myself. I am interested in people and curious about the world. I am good enough. Everything I want, I eventually get. My dreams come true. I am valuable and I have a positive impact on the world. I have everything I need. I am living the life I dreamed of right now. My angels protect me, my ancestors guide me, and I am connected to Source. I am a hand in the divine story. I am radically and poetically inhabiting my life. It is beautiful and fun and romantic. It is extraordinary. It is vibrant. It feels good. I engage and I surrender. I am magic. I am in control and I am love.
I
Say that
am
to
emotional.
yourself. Say that to yourself every day for a year. It will radically change your brain.
I'm like, we're just going to like make that recording a clip and put it out there for everyone to play for themselves every day. Because you also have the voice for it. Like, I want to hear your voice every morning.
Doing affirmations.
Yeah.
Please stay tuned to my affirmation album. It's
That
coming
was
out in
beautiful.
2026.
So here's something interesting. I don't remember this guy's name. I think it's the Mind Valley guy. You know Mind Valley?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say his name because I cannot think of it, but I can see his face. Anyway, he says another way to like level up this affirmations practice is to make it a question. Why is this coming to me so naturally? Like it's already here. Like, why am I such an amazing athlete? Why am I feeling so healthy? How is this so easy for me? And so I listened to that. I'm like, okay, let me try it. And I used that practice when I was running. Like, when you're struggling, you're on a run and you're like, I just want to stop because my legs are tired.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I just like, why is this run so easy for me? And somehow it worked. It tricks your brain into like believing like it's already real. It's already, I don't know. Anyway, fun little like.
Yeah. A manifestation, you're supposed to talk in as if it's already happened. Do you want to hear a prayer?
Yeah.
What year is this? This is 2023. I'm going back 1 year. This is, bullet journal. Accident.
Too many journals.
Too many journals. Okay.
Too many journals.
This is what I would say in the morning in 2023. Good morning. A great one, actually. Today you're alive. Today you are loved. Take a deep breath. Now take 5 more. And I would literally sit there and take 5 deep breaths. You have a purpose today. The best part is we don't know what it is yet. You'll get it all done. Don't worry. You always do. The list is the known. It's the process, the journey. Enjoy the journey. Get into flow. If it wasn't something you could and will do, it wouldn't have made it on the list. So have no doubts. You got this. The unknown is also coming. Just another prong of the experience of your existence here. Most of it will be good. Some of it isn't even about you. Some of it isn't even about you. You may have parts to play you don't even know the lines for. You may have things to hear or understand that come from almost anywhere. Be open, be calm, be quiet. Listen to the universe and the people through which it speaks. Love this day and it will love you back. Gratitude, patience, kindness. There is a God within you who does not qualify and categorize each experience because she came here for it all. Every part of this life is an opportunity for expansion. Every change in the tide is simply momentum in the best new direction. Your thoughts are inspiration, your feelings are feedback, and your actions are the work of God. Love today. Love yourself. Love the world. Love the people in your path. Your future is more amazing than you could ever imagine. So let it take care of itself. You stay here in the present moment and feel the joy and flow of the always present, generous, and fulfilling now.
Okay, so here it is. Like, I thought I was going to cry probably on the first episode, but like, that is beautiful. It's a miracle I haven't cried yet, but here we are.
But these are just,
it's beautiful.
Try it. People, try
Can you,
it.
Can you please, by the way, do something with this? Like, write this more and share it with the world more. And like, people need to hear this. And it's bringing me back. You know what I was thinking about? So we had that conversation last week with Jody, which was so amazing. And we were talking about this belief that like our life is playing out the way that it has to, or the way that it should. And how that belief kind of helps you overcome the challenges of life, but how that belief also comes from privilege. And so like, sometimes I have a little bit of guilt about holding that belief, because I know how, even in the hardest shit that's happened, how beautiful and easy my life has been in so many ways on top of that. That's not lost on me. So I struggle sometimes when we talk like that, like this is meant to happen. We signed up for this. We came here for this life, because I'm like, I just know that it doesn't feel easy for many people to believe that. But when you say it in this morning prayer, it makes me feel like if everyone woke up and had their day start like this, they might be way more open to seeing more opportunities out of the challenges that they're faced with every day. And so it's a beautiful practice, whether or not I can fully wrap my head around believing it. And like, just because of what is happening in the world, it's a struggle. But like, I can just see and feel how it's such a beautiful thing to bring into your life every day, and how much it can open you up to seeing the world in a different way, seeing your life in a different way, and engaging in challenges in a different way, you know?
100%. And what's cool about it is that you make the commitment to do it every day for a year, and you don't hold yourself accountable. Like, you let it seep in. You're like, dude, listen, I'm going to do this 365. So the first few months that you do it, you do feel really peaceful, really loving in that moment. But like, by the time you realize the creamer is out for your coffee, you may fucking lose that fucking vibe for the rest of the goddamn day. Yeah. But what you know for sure is that you can start over tomorrow. And maybe the day after that, you make it till 10 a.m. And maybe you're like, listen, I've been having real peaceful mornings for 4 months before you make it to noon, still feeling positive, optimistic, and like you are a key player in the universe's plan. You know what I mean? Like, it is aspirational. It is not, you don't write it down and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I failed at this because I wasn't the Buddha by 6 o'clock that night. Like, that's not how it works. It slowly seeps into your belief system until years and years later, you really feel those things. Those things are reflexes in your mind because you've committed to integrating them. Does that make sense?
100%. And to that, I also want to say, you're like, okay, like by the morning time, your creamer's out, you lose it, you can bring it back tomorrow. But like, the opportunity is actually always there to bring it back.
Oh, right.
Right? Like, if it becomes a part of your practice, you lose your shit about the creamer and then be like, hold on a second, prayer,
I'm going back.
Bring me back. It's yes. Like, you can shorten that reactivity period at any time by bringing that kind of prayer energy back into yourself. And it doesn't have to wait till tomorrow, but I love it so much. All right. I need to see you. I know I said you don't have to come this weekend. I'm kind of taking it back. We need to do some journaling.
We need to do this.
We can FaceTime it. We can FaceTime it.
I started this prayer practice in 2015. And it started with love, peace, serenity, humility, and gratitude. I would just say those words over and over and over again throughout my day. Like, I wrote down, what did I want to embody in 2015? And it was love, peace, serenity, humility, and gratitude. And that's, you don't have to do all that. You don't even need to journal. You can pick 5 words, and every time you realize the creamer's out, you can go love, peace, serenity, humility, gratitude. Love, peace, serenity, humility, gratitude. You know what I mean? Like that. One of the beautiful things about looking at journaling this way is that you can pare it down to a dot on a page if you want. Commit to the process of whatever it is that you can do. And there is no judgment, because guess who gets to look at your journals? Nobody ever. Not even your spouse is entitled to look at your journals. They're like the most private things on earth.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so if they are the most boring, dry, mundane, mediocre things you've ever created, the point is the process. Right? And committing to it. And like we always say, you know, one of the things we fail to do is congratulate ourselves for showing up for ourselves. It's a good way to like change your perspective on how much your relationship with yourself. And so it's give yourself a win. If all you're going to do is open it up and write 1 sentence a day, that's okay. But then give yourself that win and say, look what I've done for myself. I've shown up for myself. And that starts to heal the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious, even with 1 sentence.
This is something that comes up in therapy a lot, obviously, right? When people are like, thank you for how much you've helped me. And I'm like, this is not me. Like, this is you here every week, showing up for yourself, taking this home, trying to do what you can with it. This is you. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm sitting here receiving and asking questions, right? But you are here showing up for yourself. And that, like you said, is one of the most important practices of self-connection.
Mm-hmm. And you know it's true because the people that don't have these results.
Yeah.
It's not just like being in contact with you. Right? Like people go to therapy all the time and don't show up for themselves. And it doesn't
They don't
work.
be honest. Not for me, actually, I have to say, in my experience, people are honest. But there are, I'm sure, situations where people don't feel, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But where people don't be fully honest because they fear being judged or they don't want to see those parts of themselves. Not that, like, sometimes we can't see those parts of ourselves. So that's another. But, you know, in my experiences recently anyway, like, people are meeting themselves, you know, and showing up for themselves. Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
I'm lucky. I feel very lucky.
And it works over time.
Too. Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. You have to write something. Like, you have to do, I mean,
I want to give, can I do the night prayer now? Mm-hmm. From 2022 to end it?
Yeah.
Because I think this is all also like very steeped in psychology. Like, I take all this information from, you know, I'm a self-help addict. One time I was going to reform the police. What happened? The mayor fucking left. That's what happened. Okay. So this is psychology. This is stuff my therapist has told me that I've read in self-help books. Like I meld it all together with my spiritual beliefs. And that's how I come up with something like this. And this is how we'll end it today. Don't fall asleep if you're listening to this while driving. Good night, darling. Good job today. Thank your body for keeping you going. Thank your mind for staying alert. Thank your soul for keeping your spirit protected. They may rest now. You are safe and it's time to rest. Time to enter the void where healing happens and inspiration brews. Invite your heart to slow. Tell your breath to get deeper. Release the tension in your eyes and jaw. Deep breath now. You've done enough today. Save what matters and forget the rest. Tonight I will sleep deeply. All my muscles will relax. All my tension will release. I will shut my eyes and bask in the warm, healing light of the force we all come from. Even while my mind and body rest, my essence is inviting in all the blessings that will manifest in my experience. Go, be in love, fall into your bed and sleep. You are safe, you are loved, you are enough.
Amazing.
Good night, Moon.
I'm loving it. I'm loving what you're doing. I'm loving it. You're a great writer too.
Thank you. I mean, it's all the same stuff. You know, I think so many of these phrases that we use in spirituality, it feels wrong to pass them off as your own. Like, you know what I mean? 6,000 years ago, a yogi said, the essence of all that is. Do you know what I mean? And then, you don't want to be some white lady getting on the internet and being like, the essence of all there is. Like, isn't that brilliant that it came from me? It came from source. It also came from that yogi. And it also came from the source through that yogi. But my point is, like, any of these beautiful angelic phrases, like, they're in Bibles, they're in holy books, they're in channeled messages that have come from, different channelers and psychics over the years. They're from people that have written books. Some people claim they come from Mary. Some people call them, the words of anybody, Allah. You know what I mean? Like, they're all, it's all the same message. It's all that Christ consciousness that Jody was talking about. And it comes from many different people. But it's all the same thing. It's the same thing you read in the cards, in the back of every tarot book. I mean, it's all the same thing, and it is that way because it is all true. Read the bullet journal method, guys. It takes an hour and a half to do, and it will change your motherfucking life. You're a queen.
Thank you so much for sharing. Now, everybody go get your journals and get to work.
We'll see you next time.
I'm going to do it.
Becca
Like, check.
Sutter.
You have to check in with me.
We'll be having our myths read, our hero myths based on our astrology.
I am so excited for this. Just based on my interaction with her through email.
She's gonna be amazing.
I'm mind blown already.
But I think we can all agree that what both myths say is that we're going to have a famous podcast. So please subscribe, you guys.
Oh, yes. Don't
Make our
forget.
dreams come true. Love you.
Bye. Love you.